So this is actually done by Telemundo. Senator Bernie Sanders is leading the 2020 Democratic presidential field amongst Latino voters. But mind you, remember, the way corporate media is going to spin this, him leading means something else, that he's falling behind. But nonetheless.
Hey, first is third, Kit.
Yeah, no, actually, no. Bernie Sanders being in first place is dead last.
Oh,
doesn't
no,
matter.
right.
Doesn't matter what the number is.
You are so right. I apologize.
So there we go. Even if it's a race of candidates of 10 people in a race, if there's 10 people in it, Bernie Sanders is like 20th place.
No. Tulsi's last. Remember?
Yeah. Okay.
Then it's Bernie.
Then it's Bernie.
It's
then it's whoever.
Then it's Bet or Work, I think.
Bet on my Stork. Yeah. Even though he's out. So Bernie Sanders is right now leading in the Nevada caucuses. Sanders has 30% support from Latino voters nationally and at 33% amongst Latino voters in the state of Nevada. And as we all know, the Nevada caucus will be on February 22nd. Univision poll released this on Tuesday, found out that also Vice President Joe Biden trails amongst Sanders. And then behind Vice President Joe Biden, shockingly, is billionaire Tom Steyer. Then followed,
trying his best.
Then followed by, of all people, Michael Bloomberg. So go figure. If you're spending a lot of money, people are going to assume that you are a leader.
But wait, Kit, I thought Buttigieg and Klobuchar were about to do really, really well.
Well, Daniel, that's an interesting point, and I wanted to bring this up because the rest of the article, this is an article from The Hill, the rest of the article goes on to state that Bernie Sanders is, again, gaining more momentum as he's getting more support from Latino voters. But this is an interesting point, an interesting perspective that I want to bring up, and I want to have Paul and Daniel weigh in on this, and that is Buttigieg and Klobuchar are not added into this. In fact, they are not even in the top three. Okay, it is followed by Sanders, Biden, and Tom Steyer. Those three individuals right now, at least according to this Telemundo poll that's also been done. And also there was another separate Mason-Dixon polling that showed that Biden and Sanders were tied, then followed by Tom Steyer.
There's a really recent poll that has Sanders up like 17% or something.
I know. So some more polling data is coming in, but the thing is, this calls into question the stability and perhaps maybe the end of Klobuchar and Buttigieg's campaign. Now, of course, they do have their financial supporters, but this goes into something that you brought up, and that is Bloomberg entering this race is shaking support from those two candidates. Now, Biden, being who he is, name recognition, and probably ego and pride are what's fueling him. He's not dropping out yet, but this does call into question the future of these two other presidential campaigns and also the role of Latino voters, especially in Nevada, and who will actually end up winning that caucus. So, Paul, Daniel, weigh in on this.
Yeah, so this is a lot what I was talking about before, why I was very happy about the way the first two races played out, because Biden's more dangerous if he has power the further you go into the race. And Buttigieg and Klobuchar were only really powerful when it was literally just the quote-unquote Bernie bro audience that they needed so much to win. So on that point, Klobuchar and Buttigieg are about to collapse entirely because they have, again, like combined, they have like a quarter the minority support that Trump does, which is saying a lot right there. Biden has just all the wind has been taken out of his sails in the first two races. If he had not been in the shape that he was in, if he had taken second, I think it's reasonable that he could take first place in Nevada right now. But he isn't because of what happened before. So these kind of happen at just the perfect time for Bloomberg to go in early. Because if we have two people that have really no power past the first two states doing really well and they suck out the power of the person who would, you then, in effect, take out all of them at once. Warren gets knocked out in that mix as well. And again, what I said, I think it was yesterday, the race that I want to see sooner rather than later is Bloomberg versus Bernie. Because if we have that, that's just like Hillary versus Bernie, only the tables are flipped.
Yeah. Paul.
Yeah, I don't know if I have much to add here. I mean, the way this ends up playing out could go so many different ways. Who really knows? I think the consistent feature here is Bernie's doing pretty great.
Absolutely.
It's hard to take anything away from that, and it's just the fact that support seems to be shifting back and forth between Klobuchar, Pete. Maybe it's going to go this way.
And
maybe
he's consolidating.
Right.
Now, the thing that is interesting is, and I said this on the show yesterday, there appears to be a lot of never burners, right? That I think there is some segment of the population that does really feel that way. The question is, how actually large is that? Because what you're seeing in the analysis from particularly, New Hampshire and Iowa is oh, look, if we take all of these not Bernie candidates, they have more of the vote than Bernie. So people want not Bernie. And
They're not asking them who their second choice is.
right. Well, I think there's some part of that voting group that really is never Bernie. And there's some part of that Bernie group that is just the group that I talk about all the time, which is just, I just want to vote correctly. I want to vote for the winner. I want to get to the general election or get to the end of the general election and be able to say, I voted for the right candidate. They won.
Right.
And I think a lot of people vote that way.